I have a gift I want to give to you. This is a D for Duffey, in case y'all didn't know. Perfect. It says, marry me, Iman, because I want to let you know I'm serious. Before Duffey ever showed off that sparkling engagement ring before the celebrations and the cheers, there was a chapter hidden in the shadows that almost nobody knew about. Whispers have begun to surface of a secret love story that links Duffey's fiancé not just to his bride-to-be, but to her closest circle. And the name at the center of those whispers is none other than Brandi. The rumor suggests that long before the proposal, there were late-night conversations, stolen moments, and an emotional connection that blurred the lines between friendship and something far deeper. Sources close to the circle claim that Bry's tears, often dismissed as simple frustrations, were in fact tied to a romance that never made it to the spotlight. And now, with Duffey stepping into a future filled with promise, those unspoken truths threaten to rewrite the past in a way that fans never expected. Was Brandi quietly carrying the weight of a broken love while standing beside Duffey as a friend? Did Duffey unknowingly step into a love triangle that would leave scars no celebration could hide? One thing is clear, this isn't just about an engagement. It's about secrets resurfacing and a story that may change everything. When Duffey's engagement news hit the spotlight, it painted the picture of a fairy tale moment. Fans saw the smiling couple, the sparkling ring, and the joy that surrounded them. But what many didn't realize was that beneath those smiles, you know things, and you saw that, and it's just like people close to Brandi quietly hinted that her reaction was far more complicated than she let on. While cameras captured laughter and congratulations behind closed doors, there were tears, confusion, and questions about loyalty. It's said that before the glitter of the engagement, Brandi shared a history with the very man now standing at Duffey's side. Whispers claimed that their bond went far beyond casual friendship, that there was a period where Brandi and him shared intimate conversations late into the night. Friends recall seeing them together in ways that felt almost too close, too personal, to be explained away as just friends supporting each other. One source described it as a connection that everyone noticed, but nobody wanted to address. For Brandi, this wasn't simply about Duffey's fiancé. It was about someone she once leaned on emotionally, someone who made her believe she had a place in his heart. People who know Brandi say she had invested her hopes into a future that never fully materialized. Those hopes were quietly tucked away, yet never completely gone. So, when the announcement came that Duffey was stepping into that role, it reopened. Wounds Brandi thought had healed. The storyline only became more complicated when fans began piecing together subtle hints. Bry's posts on social media filled with cryptic quotes about trust, betrayal, and resilience sparked speculation. One message in particular drew attention. Sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. Followers immediately connected it to Duffey's engagement, wondering if the tears behind those words revealed more than she intended. People inside the circle noticed the tension during group outings. One insider recalled a dinner where Duffey proudly showed off her ring while Brandi forced a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. According to the witness, the energy shifted quickly with Brandi excusing herself from the table earlier than expected. Fans who analyze every move on social media started digging deeper, comparing timelines, old photos, and captions that suddenly carried new meaning. Rumors suggest there were even moments when Brandi confronted Duffey privately. A heated conversation reportedly unfolded with Brandi, questioning whether Duffey ever truly knew about the history she shared with her now fiancé. "Did you know everything? Or did you only want to see what made you happy?" she allegedly asked, her voice breaking under the weight of suppressed pain. Duffey, according to Whispers, tried to defend herself, saying that what happened in the past was irrelevant to the love she now shared. But for Brandi, the past was not something that could be dismissed so easily. Friends of both women found themselves caught in the crossfire. Loyalty was tested as people chose sides, some insisting that Duffey was innocent in the situation, while others empathized with Bry's unspoken heartbreak. One close associate admitted, "I saw Brandi cry more than once, but she would always wipe her face and pretend she was okay. It was like she didn't want anyone to know how deeply it cut her." The most striking element of the unfolding drama is how the fans reacted. Social media became a battlefield of opinions. Some argued that Brandi was wrong for holding on to the past, that love moves on and people grow. Others felt she had every right to feel betrayed, especially if Duffey stepped into something Brandi once believed belonged to her. Hashtags began, trending with comments like Team Brandi and Team Duffey filling timelines, creating an online frenzy that only fueled the speculation. But this wasn't only about public perception. The emotional toll on Brandi was undeniable. Those close to her described nights where she would retreat into silence, replaying memories she thought were long forgotten. The laughter she once shared with him now felt like betrayal, and the closeness that gave her comfort had turned into the sharpest pain. At one point, she reportedly confided in a friend, saying, "I feel like I've been erased from a story I helped build." Meanwhile, Duffey seemed determined to maintain the fairy tale narrative. She shared posts of romantic dinners, vacations, and public displays of affection with her fiancé, seemingly unfazed by the whispers around them. To outsiders, it looked like she was blocking out the noise, focusing only on the happiness she had created. But insiders claimed there were cracks even in her confidence. In private, Duffey allegedly expressed frustration, questioning why Brandi couldn't simply let go of the past and support her fully. "Why does it feel like she's always watching me with those sad eyes?" Duffey is said to have told a confidant, "I want her to be happy for me, but it's like she can't move on, and it makes me feel guilty even though I didn't do anything wrong." This delicate balance between friendship and rivalry began to unravel in subtle ways. Group dynamics shifted, invitations became selective, and conversations grew tense whenever the subject of the engagement came up. Fans who once saw the two women as inseparable now questioned if their bond could survive this unspoken betrayal. Even more shocking were the rumors that Duffey Espionce himself noticed the tension. Sources allege that he attempted to clear the air, suggesting a sit-down with both women to put the past behind them. But the idea reportedly backfired when Brandi broke down during the discussion, admitting feelings that had never been fully addressed. "You'll never understand what it feels like to watch someone you once loved promise forever to your friend," she supposedly confessed through tears. The fallout from that conversation left everyone shaken. Brandi retreated even further. Duffey felt conflicted between her loyalty to her friend and her love for her partner, and the man at the center of it all found himself under a microscope of judgment. Fans debated whether he had led Brandi on or if she had simply misread signals. Whichever side people took, one thing was certain. The engagement was no longer just about love. It was about a past resurfacing in ways no one expected. As more stories continue to surface, the picture becomes increasingly tangled. What started as a beautiful celebration is now overshadowed by questions, heartbreak, and the kind of drama that keeps audiences glued to every update. And while the couple tries to hold on to their happiness, Bry's silent tears remind everyone that love stories are never as simple as they appear on the surface after that emotional breakdown. The air around Brandi Duffey and the fiancé became heavier than ever. People close to them started whispering that what should have been a joyful time had turned into a quiet war of emotions. Friends noticed Brandi pulling away from group activities, choosing instead to keep her distance. She would politely decline invitations, claiming she was busy or tired, but those who knew her best could see the sadness behind her eyes. One friend described it perfectly, saying she was there but not really there. Even when she showed up, her smile was forced, and she left as soon as she could. It was like she didn't want to watch their happiness unfold in front of her. What shocked everyone further was how Duffey reacted. Instead of confronting Brandi openly, she seemed to adopt a strategy of proving that her love story was unshakable. She posted even more about her relationship online, romantic captions, glamorous date nights, and endless displays of affection. Fans couldn't help but notice the timing, and many began speculating that the posts were less about celebrating love and more about sending a silent message to Brandi. This only fueled the drama further. Followers flooded the comments with questions like, "Is she shading Brandi?" And "Why does this feel like a competition?" Every move was dissected and every post became evidence in a narrative of rivalry. Duffey tried to act unfazed, but insiders claimed that behind the scenes she was becoming increasingly frustrated. "I feel like I can't even celebrate my own happiness without it turning into something about Brandi," she reportedly told a close confidant. "It's like people are waiting for me to slip and I'm tired of being compared to her. But while Duffey tried to hold her ground, Bry's emotions continued spiraling. She allegedly confided in another friend, revealing that seeing Duffey step into the role she once dreamed of had reopened old wounds she thought had healed years ago. "I know I should be happy for her," she said tearfully, "but I can't stop thinking about what could have been." The fiancé at the center of it all found himself in an increasingly uncomfortable position. Though he rarely addressed the whispers directly, sources claim he noticed the distance between the women and tried to smooth things over. One insider revealed that he approached Brandi privately, telling her, "I never wanted to hurt you. Care about you, but my future is with Duffey. I hope you can find peace with that." Those words, though, meant a comfort, only deepened the ache in Bry's heart. She reportedly nodded and smiled, but later broke down, admitting to a friend that hearing him speak so firmly about his commitment to Duffey felt like watching the door close on a chapter she hadn't been ready to end. As the situation intensified, the reactions of fans became louder than ever. Online forums buzzed with debates, with some accusing Duffey of knowingly stepping into Bry's past, while others insisted that Brandi was being unfair by holding on to emotions she should have let go of long ago. "This is messy." One fan commented while another wrote, "You can't control who you fall in love with, but this feels like betrayal." The drama even spilled over into public events. At one party where both women were present, witnesses claimed the tension was palpable. Duffey and her fiancé walked in hand while Brandi stayed at the opposite side of the room, avoiding eye contact. People whispered that Brandi looked stunning but somber, as if she had dressed up to prove she was still strong, even if her heart was breaking. Inside, the night took an unexpected turn when a conversation between the women reportedly turned heated. According to witnesses, Brandi finally let her emotions show, telling Duffey, "You have no idea what this feels like. You think you won, but all I see is everything I lost." Duffey allegedly responded sharply, saying, "This isn't about winning or losing, Brandi. This is about love, and my love is real." The confrontation left the room stunned, with guests pretending not to overhear, while secretly replaying every word in their minds. Later, video surfaced online showing the two women talking animatedly, their expressions tense, which only added fuel to the fire of speculation. Fans dissected the clips frame by frame, insisting that it was clear Brandi was crying while Duffey looked defensive. As days passed, the fallout from that night became the talk of the community. Some insiders claimed that Duffey felt guilty for the pain Brandi was experiencing, but she also refused to let it overshadow her joy. "I can't live my life apologizing for being happy." She supposedly told a friend, "I love him, and I won't let anyone make me feel bad about that." Brandi, on the other hand, was said to be struggling with a storm of emotions. She posted less on social media, and when she did, her captions often hinted at heartbreak and resilience. One post read, "Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones you fight silently," which quickly went viral among fans who tied it directly to her situation. The circle of friends around them was divided. Some tried to mediate, hoping the two women could find common ground, while others admitted they were choosing sides. One source confessed, "It feels like you can't be friends with both of them right now. There's too much pain, too much unspoken resentment. Everyone's walking on eggshells." Through it all, the fiancé remained a quiet but central figure in the drama. People debated whether he had mishandled the situation by not addressing Bry's feelings earlier, or if he was simply caught in an impossible position. Some fans even accused him of leading Brandi on before moving on with Duffey, while others defended him, arguing that feelings change and people move forward as the storyline unfolded. What shocked many was how raw and human it felt behind the glamorous photos and public appearances. There were real tears, real emotions, and friendships being tested in ways no one anticipated. Fans who had once celebrated the bond between Brandi and Duffey now questioned if it could ever be repaired, or if the engagement marked the end of a friendship that once seemed unbreakable. And while Duffey and her fiancé continued to push forward with their love story, Bry's silence spoke volumes. Every glance, every word left unsaid, added to the mystery of how this tangled web of love and loyalty would ever be resolved. Bry's silence didn't just leave her friends uneasy. It also left fans speculating wildly about what she was really feeling. Every small action was treated as a clue. When she unfollowed a couple of mutual friends online, people immediately assumed it was connected to the drama. Comments poured in asking if she was cutting ties, if she was protecting herself, or if it was her way of making a statement without words. Meanwhile, Duffey doubled down on sharing her joy. She flaunted her ring in a series of photos, flashing smiles that looked almost too perfect. In one video clip, she was seen holding her fiancé's hand while laughing. And while it seemed natural to some, others claimed it felt staged, as though she wanted to prove something. The comments were split. Some praised her happiness, while others accused her of rubbing it in Bry's face. "If you're really secure, you don't need to post this much," one follower wrote, while another defended her, saying, "Why should she dim her light just because someone else is hurting?" This back and forth only made things worse, dragging more people into the emotional whirlwind. Friends close to Brandi insisted that she wasn't bitter, but deeply wounded. One source said she doesn't want to take away Duffey's joy, but she feels like her pain has no place in this story anymore, as if her chapter got erased and that's the hardest part for her. The fiancé found himself walking on thin ice. He reportedly avoided mentioning Brandi in conversations with Duffey, yet there were whispers that he still felt guilt about how things had unfolded. One insider revealed he knows Brandi loved him. Once. Maybe he still does, but he's in love with Duffey now, and he doesn't know how to honor both truths without hurting someone. As all of this played out, fans began to wonder if the engagement would ever truly escape the shadow of Bry's history with him. Some even speculated that Brandi might eventually step forward with her side of the story, something she had avoided so far. The mere possibility of her speaking publicly kept the drama alive, with people eagerly awaiting any hint of a confession or revelation. Then came another shocking twist. During a group dinner with mutual friends, tension reportedly boiled over, once again. Brandi, after staying quiet for most of the evening, finally let her emotions slip. "You keep acting like I'm invisible," she told Duffey in front of everyone, her voice shaking but steady. "But you know exactly what this feels like. You just don't want to admit it." Duffey, visibly stunned, responded sharply, "I've never tried to erase you, Brandi. You're the one holding on to the past. Can't keep apologizing for being happy." Those at the dinner described the atmosphere as electric, with every person frozen in place, unsure of whether to intervene or let the women express themselves. One friend later recounted, "It was like watching years of unspoken pain spill out in real time. No one could breathe until it was over." After that night, the divide between the women seemed impossible to ignore. Insiders claimed Duffey felt betrayed that Brandi had confronted her in front of others rather than privately, while Brandi felt relieved for finally saying aloud what had been eating at her for so long. The fallout was immediate. Word spread quickly, and soon the internet was buzzing again with fresh debates and speculation. Some fans sided with Brandi, calling her brave for speaking her truth, while others accused her of being bitter and jealous. One viral comment summed it up: "Brandi is hurting, but it's not fair to throw that on Duffey." Love doesn't wait for permission. Despite the chaos, Duffey continued planning her wedding, determined not to let the drama derail her future. But even her closest friends admitted that the tension was weighing on her. She wants to enjoy her engagement, but there's this cloud hanging over everything. One source said she feels like no matter what she does, people are going to connect her love story to Brandi. Brandi, on the other hand, withdrew even further. Her social media posts became rare, and when she did share, they were cryptic and emotional. In one caption, she wrote, "Healing is a journey, not a destination," which instantly reignited rumors that she was still processing the heartbreak of losing not just love, but also her closest friend. The fans weren't the only ones reacting. Within their inner circle, the situation caused major fractures. People who once considered themselves neutral began feeling forced to pick sides. Some gravitated toward Duffey, supporting her right to live her life without guilt, while others sympathized with Brandi, acknowledging the rawness of her pain. One mutual friend put it bluntly, "It feels like we're watching a friendship die, and none of us can stop it. But the most surprising response came from the fiancé himself. According to sources, he finally decided to address the elephant in the room during a private moment with both women present. "I don't want to live in the middle of this anymore." He reportedly said, "I love Duffey and I'm choosing her, but that doesn't mean I don't respect what I shared with you, Brandi. I just can't keep living in the past." The statement, though intended to settle things, only added more weight to the situation. Duffey allegedly felt hurt that he had acknowledged Brandi so openly while Brandi reportedly left the conversation, in tears. One witness described it as a moment that was meant to bring closure but only reopened every wound. From that point on, nothing seemed simple. The engagement party that followed was filled with glamour and excitement on the surface. But whispers of Bry's absence overshadowed the event. Fans quickly noticed she wasn't there and speculated whether she had been uninvited or had chosen not to come. Her silence left everyone guessing, and the mystery only made the drama bigger. Still. As the celebrations continued, so did the undercurrent of unresolved emotions. Every smile, every toast, every sparkling moment felt laced with tension. Duffey looked radiant, but those who knew her best admitted that she was pushing through with sheer determination. "She wants to prove that nothing can break her happiness," one source explained. But deep down, she knows the story isn't over yet. And in the shadows of that glittering celebration, Bry's absence spoke louder than words, leaving fans and friends alike wondering whether her silence was a retreat, a strategy, or simply the only way she knew how to survive the heartbreak. The absence of Brandi at the engagement party didn't just spark whispers. It became the center of all conversations. The glittering decor, the laughter, the music, all of it palled in comparison to the empty space where many thought Brandi should have been. Her name floated around like a ghost, impossible to ignore, and it seemed as though every guest was waiting for a surprise entrance that never came. Friends tried to explain her absence in different ways. Some said she had been invited, but declined, unwilling to put herself in the spotlight of a night that symbolized her deepest loss. Others claimed she was deliberately excluded because Duffey feared her presence would overshadow the celebration. No one could agree on the truth, but what everyone did agree on was that Bry's absence spoke louder than any speech that night online. Fans picked up on the mystery immediately. Photos from the event circulated and comment sections exploded with questions about why Brandi wasn't there. She was supposed to be family. How can she not show up? One person wrote while another argued. Her not being there says everything we need to know. The more people speculated, the bigger the narrative grew. And suddenly the engagement itself seemed like a backdrop to the unresolved story between the two women. But Brandi wasn't silent forever. Days after the event, she finally broke her quiet streak with a post that shook everyone. It wasn't direct, it wasn't pointed, but it carried the weight of everything she had been holding back. She posted a simple photo of herself looking away from the camera, captioned only with the words, "Sometimes the hardest part is letting go of what could have been." The reaction was instant. Fans flooded her page with support, calling her brave and authentic, while others accused her of being passive-aggressive, suggesting she was using the moment to pull attention back onto herself. One viral comment read, "This isn't healing. This is a message, and we all know exactly who it's for." The timing of her post so soon after Duffey's grand celebration only fueled the fire. It felt like a shadow had been cast over the glow of the engagement. And whether intentional or not, Brandi was once again part of the story. Insiders revealed that Duffey was furious. She feels like Brandi will never let her have peace. One source said, "It's like every time she takes a step forward, Brandi shows up to remind everyone of the past." The fiancé found himself torn once again. Though his loyalty was firmly with Duffey, those close to him admitted he struggled with guilt over how Bry's pain was playing out so publicly. He reportedly confessed to a friend, "I never wanted this to turn into a war. I thought the past was over, but it's like it keeps following us." Things escalated further when rumors surfaced that Brandi might be working on a TAL interview, though nothing was confirmed. Whispers suggested she had been approached by producers eager to capture her side of the story for a special. The possibility alone sent shockwaves through their circle. Friends warned Duffey that such a move could reignite old wounds in ways no one was prepared for. If Brandi speaks publicly, it changes everything. One insider warned, dot in the middle. Of all this, fans noticed subtle changes in Duffey's online presence. She stopped posting as frequently, and when she did, her captions hinted at frustration. In one post, she wrote, "People love to hold on to the past, but the future doesn't wait," which many interpreted as a direct response to Bry's earlier message. The back and forth between their posts became almost like a conversation, each woman speaking in code to the world but clearly addressing one another, their friends. Caught in the Middle described the atmosphere as unbearable. One mutual acquaintance said, "It feels like walking on eggshells. You can't bring up one without mentioning the other, and no matter what you say, someone gets upset. It's exhausting." But even in the midst of all the chaos, there were fleeting moments that suggested resolution might be possible. One night at a private gathering, with only a handful of close friends, Brandi and Duffey reportedly came face to face again. Witnesses say the energy was tense at first, but after hours of avoiding each other, we finally spoke. "I never wanted to steal from you," Brandi whispered, her voice breaking. "I just wanted to be seen." Duffey, holding back tears, responded softly, "I never wanted to hurt you, but I can't apologize for falling in love." The room was silent, everyone holding their breath as the two women shared a rare, honest moment. Though it wasn't a reconciliation, it was perhaps the closest they had come to understanding each other in months. Some who were there believed it was the beginning of healing, while others thought it was just another fragile truce that wouldn't last once emotions ran high again. What followed was a period of relative quiet. Both women stepped back from the spotlight for a while, focusing on their personal lives rather than feeding the narrative. Fans, however, refused to let the story die. Old clips, photos, and quotes resurfaced across social media, keeping the debate alive even when the women themselves weren't saying anything. The public had become invested in the saga, and they weren't ready to let it go. As the wedding day drew closer, speculation reached a fever pitch. Would Brandi be invited? Would she show up? Would there be another confrontation? No one had the answers, and the uncertainty only fueled the suspense. Insiders claimed Duffey struggled with the decision, torn between wanting to close the door on the past once and for all, and fearing that Bry's presence could overshadow the happiest day of her life through it all. One thing became clear. This was more than just a love triangle. It was a story of friendship, betrayal, loyalty, and heartbreak. With no easy ending in sight, fans couldn't stop dissecting every angle, and those closest to the situation couldn't escape the weight of it. In the end, what remained was a tangled web of love and loss, where every smile carried a shadow and every silence spoke volumes. The engagement that should have been a simple celebration had transformed into one of the most talked about sagas, leaving everyone wondering whether true peace would ever be possible. And as the world watched, waiting for the next twist, both women stood on opposite sides of the same story, one moving forward with a new chapter, the other still haunted by the echoes of what might have been. After all these explosive whispers, shocking claims, and tangled emotions, one thing is certain. The story surrounding Brandi